At least 1,000 people have been killed and 1,500 injured in an earthquake in Afghanistan. Aid organisations are worried the country does not have the infrastructure in place to deal with the widespread destruction.
This quiet, rural area in eastern Afghanistan was this morning met by sheer destruction. A powerful earthquake rocking the mountainous region of Paktika has crippled homes, livelihoods and killed hundreds. The death toll will continue to rise as locals scrape through the rubble of homes made from mud and bricks. They can only hope they find some signs of life. With many international aid agencies fleeing the country after the Taliban takeover last year, a response was slow.
Afghanistan is in the midst of a horrible economic crisis that is fueling a worsening humanitarian crisis. We are in the midst of one of the worst droughts in decades in Afghanistan. At the same time, 400 people in the last few weeks have been killed in flash floods. And now on top of that, we have this horrific earthquake that has affected the eastern provinces.
The de facto government sent helicopters to help lift the injured to safety. But on the ground in these hard-to-reach areas, without a major international aid presence, treating people is proving difficult. Neighbouring Pakistan and Iran have said they're prepared to help the Afghan authorities with any support they need. But with lots of rain over the last 48 hours and forecast for more, the worry of landslides and flooding is now prominent. And so a plea for further international support.
When such a big incident happens in any country, there is a need for help from other countries. It is very difficult for us to be able to respond to this huge incident. We ask the international community to cooperate with us and continue their support.
But the financial sanctions put in place after the Taliban took control remains a barrier. The American government saying they aren't aware of any requests for assistance, but are expecting the humanitarian response to be a topic of conversation in the coming days.
Let's go live now to New Delhi in India, where I'm joined by CNN reporter Vedika Sud, who is covering the quake. Vedika, thanks for your time. As we heard in that report there, this is all complicated by the fact that aid agencies in large part have left since the Taliban returned to power, Vedika.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for having me, Kieran. You're absolutely right there, because these aid agencies are already overstretched, given that their numbers compared to the last few years is much less. Now, we're talking about a very remote area. These are villages in a mountainous region. This is a rough terrain, over 1,000 dead, over 1,500 injured. And according to locals, officials, as well as aid agency representatives that CNN has spoken with, this casualty number will be increasing. And the main reason for this is there's still people, according to them, under the rubble, under the debris of these homes that have been impacted by that devastating earthquake. Now, according to the UN office, a remote area called Gyan in the Paktika region is absolutely devastated. We do know that about 70% of the housing there has been impacted. People are still under the rubble, and aid agencies are trying to get to these remote areas. Telecommunication has been affected, because of which we're really not getting to know more from the remote regions. We all know about the humanitarian crisis, the economic crisis that Afghanistan has been going through. It's been an area of conflict for decades, and now the worries, their struggles have been compounded by this earthquake. There have been very strong aftershocks in the area. Yesterday, on Wednesday, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of rain in the area, hampering rescue efforts. It was very difficult for choppers to even land in the most affected regions of eastern Afghanistan. Now, the impacted regions are very close to the Afghanistan-Pakistan border as well. There are a lot of aid agencies and rescue workers who are trying to get there, but roads could be blocked because of the landslides in the area, and that is another challenge that they're facing currently, Kieran. But the casualty number will be going up, and this is soon going to turn perhaps into the deadliest earthquake to hit Afghanistan in the last 2 decades. Kieran.
Vedika Sud, live from Delhi, thank you.